Hey everyone, welcome to the Captain Drone YouTube channel. My name is Steve and I am a drone pilot. So DJI released today, the 25th of July, the year 2023. They released the DJI Air 3 and it's looking like a pretty good drone. But is it a pretty good drone? Well, let me look at the history of the DJI Air. So back in the year 2018, this is the very first DJI Air. And back then when DJI launched a product that was foldable, they called it a Mavic. So this was called the Mavic Air back in that day. It recorded at 4K. The only weakness it had was not a very long range and a very short flight time. But amazingly, back then it had forward and rear obstacle avoidance sensors. Then in the year 2020, DJI kept the same name, Mavic Air 2. So this was the Mavic Air 2, and this was the best thing since sliced bread. When they made this drone, they like broke the mold. This was the best thing. Price-wise, feature-wise, it was really good. Even today, it's still a really good drone. If you own one, hang on to it. And then in the year 2021, DJI said, hey, you know that Mavic word? Let's drop it. Just call the drones Airs. So this is called the Air 2S, and it came out in 2021, and it is better than the Air 2, which was already pretty good, so this is good-er. It's a really good drone. Then building on this momentum and their history of making really good drones in the past, today they came out with the DJI Air 3. That's not it. Of course that's not it. That's the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Hang on, let me just get that out of the way. The reason there's no DJI Air 3 here is because DJI does not send me drones for free. So whenever a drone launches, I never have a drone on launch day. If you want to see a full review of a DJI Air 3 today, you have to go to a DJI YouTube channel. And if you don't know which channels are DJI YouTube channels, those are the ones who have the DJI Air 3 today to show you in a review that they received maybe 2 weeks ago to have it for the product launch. So as noted, every DJI product you see on my channel, I have to buy myself. So, you know, I'll buy the expensive ones like the Cine. This is the Mavic 3 Cine, super expensive, 5,000 US, up to the Inspire, up to a pile of other things. However, I am not buying the DJI Air 3. Let me get this stuff out of the way and tell you why. The answer is really simple. It's because I have no use for it. You see, I buy all my DJI products, as I've mentioned, and I have to use them. Since I pay for them, well, I have to use them. The drone I use the most that DJI has ever made is the Mini 3 Pro. Whenever I review a skateboard, a bike, it could be a helicopter, a plane, or whatever, you'll see me flying this to give me extra footage of the product I'm reviewing. I'll never take out the Mavic 3 Cine because it's way too bulky, it's too noisy, it's too cumbersome. I know it doesn't look large, but compared to the Mini, you know, this is under 250 grams. This is not conducive to me. And unfortunately, the DJI Air 3 is also over 250 grams. So for viewers watching this, the DJI Air 3 might be a perfect drone for you. But if you're somebody like me who does this for a living and you have every drone on the planet, there comes a point where you just have enough. You don't need any more because they all do the same thing. They don't do anything fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about the DJI Air 3, and you're going to see it's a really good drone for somebody who doesn't have any drones, or maybe the last drone you have is some really old drone and you need to upgrade. But if you've already got the DJI Air 2S, you probably don't want to upgrade, let me tell you. First off, the weight. The DJI Air 2S is 595 grams and the DJI Air 3 is 720 grams. This is going to blow your mind, but the old DJI Air 2S has a 1-inch CMOS sensor, whereas the new DJI Air 3, since they had to put two cameras, they had to put smaller sensors. So you have two smaller sensors in there, although you get a different lens for each of those cameras. So you have wide angle and you have medium range. In addition, the old guy, the 2S, could record at 5.4K video, and the new one, the Air 3, only records at 4K. The newer DJI Air 3 will be better at low light situations if you use the wide angle lens, but if you use the medium focal length lens, it won't be that good at low light. This one here, same thing, you know, it's got about the same aperture as the medium focal length lens on the new version. So if you want to film at night, get the DJI Air 3 and put it at the wide angle format. Photos is another great thing. This baby here can take 20 megapixel photos due to its sensor. However, the DJI Air 3 that just came out actually takes 12 megapixel photos times 4. So it's like a stack sensor with the pixels being divided into 4. So instead of using the 1 pixel like this does, it divides it into 4. So you go 12 megapixel times 4. It's going to give you a 48 megapixel photo. The old version and the new version can record at 10-bit in certain situations. Flight time on the old DJI Air 2S was 31 minutes, but from a guy like me who flew it a lot, I was getting about 21 minutes on average. Yeah, 10 minutes less than what it was advertised. The new version is supposed to give you 46 on the Air 3, so we all know you're probably going to get more like 36 minutes flight time. Range on the Air 2S was really good, and it was very good at close proximity. If you had buildings in your way or you had trees in your way, it was pretty decent. So the range on this was about 12 kilometers, I believe. And the range on the new version, the DJI Air 3, unobstructed, in other words, you have line of sight from you on the ground straight out to the drone, you can get up to 20 kilometers one direction, not 20 kilometers out and back. It's one way. And I have to say this all the time because people are always confused about range on drones. Range on drones is not very good when you're in a city with buildings around you. You'll be lucky if you get half a kilometer in range. Same is true if you're in the forest, plop down in a forest, you have trees all around you and you're trying to fly, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 kilometers, and that's true on the old version as well as the new version. The old version had obstacle avoidance in the front, in the back, on the bottom, on the top, but it didn't really have it on the sides. Although if it was following you, it could pretty much avoid things on the sides as long as it saw them from the front before they passed by, which was pretty decent. The new version has avoidance all the way around, like a big bubble around it. So it's even better if you have objects on the side. The new Air 3, it's going to avoid them way better. The old version, the new version, they have tracking and APAS, all that good stuff. They can go around objects while they're following you, go over things. Also, the new Air 3 has tons of autonomous modes for filming, so it's pretty good that way. Now, the greatest thing about the new Air 3 is the remote. It's not really a remote for the new Air 3. It's a remote that DJI has come out with, and they're selling it with the Air 3, just like they did with the Mini 3 Pro. So let me show you it. So it looks just like this one that we have for the Mini 3 Pro that came out on launch day with the Mini 3 Pro, except the new one has antennas, way more powerful, but the display and everything else is pretty much the same. Essentially, when I read the specs on the new one, you know what it looks like? It looks like, where is it? It looks like this one. It looks like they took the old DJI RC and they converted this into this. But it's not as good as the big one, RC Pro. The RC Pro still wins. Oh, and the new remote as well with the integrated display. Currently, it's not available to buy separately, but we all know before Christmas, you can go buy one yourself separately, and you could probably use it with your Mini 3 Pro and a few other things and get better range because you have antennas and a pile of other good stuff. Let me just move this out of the way. The last thing I should tell you is the price. So if you're very rich and you live in the US, I'm going to give you the prices as if you lived in the US. So in the US, if you buy the Air 3, with just the basic remote, which looks like this, something like that. Well, it's not very expensive. You get one battery and it's $1,099 US. If you get the Fly More kit with the basic remote, it's $1,349. And if you get the version with the integrated display Fly More kit, it is $1,549 US. Yes, I'm serious. Those are the prices. It is pretty darn expensive. So, in my opinion, I don't have the Air 3, so you can take this with a grain of salt, but I'm just going to say the following. Is it better than the Mini 3 Pro? Yes, it's better than the Mini 3 Pro, except it's over 250 grams. So if you need an under 250 gram, you want the Mini 3 Pro. Is it better than the old Air 2S? Yes, it is. However, it doesn't record in 5K, and for somebody like me, I do a lot of cropping, so I like to record at 5K, so I prefer the Air 2S. Could it replace the Mavic 3 Cine? I would say, probably for a lot of you, probably yes. You know, the Mavic 3 Cine was touted as an awesome consumer drone, like to be very professional. But honestly, I'm a videographer and a photographer, and I don't find it to be. So if I had the choice between this and the Air 3, I would probably take the Air 3 any day. So once again, I do not have the Air 3 because DJI does not send me free products. I have to buy them all myself, and for that reason, I do not have one, and I have no intentions of buying one because I have so many drones, I just don't need it. But if it's the drone for you, based on all the specs I just mentioned, because it does have really good specs, then purchase links are below. Of course, I'm going to include the purchase links because you know what? This is what I do. Go check it out. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll try to do this with future DJI releases. And if you ever see me buy a DJI drone, that means DJI has come out with something so phenomenal and it does something I need that I don't have in any drone I currently own. So then it's going to be pretty good. Stay tuned for that. All right, catch you next vid. Bye.